We are here. Hi, Toke. Once again, we're so happy to have you here. It's nice to speak with people who have experience like you in any field, even if the person has experience in making paper, anything basically. Personally, I feel happy that you joined us. So tell us, okay, on a very general note, considering NSAS, COVID-19, and Lassa fever, all this that have happened this year, how do you feel about Nigeria right
I have mixed feelings right now about Nigeria. I am disappointed. I am elated. I am in love. I am heartbroken. I am hungry. I am happy. There's just a lot of mixed feelings right now. I just don't know. So everything has been happening. Let's say everything that's happened this year basically has made me just ask quite a few questions about why am I still in Nigeria anyway? Why again? But it's a lot. Like I used to say, it's a love and I used to say like every time that it's a love and hate relationship for me and Nigeria. I don't have anywhere I'm going, so I'm right here, in the midst of everything. And regarding SARS and COVID-19, and in the midst of it all, Nigeria is still Nigeria. So the people are still the same people. It's just circumstances that comes and goes. They are not here to stay forever. When we had Ebola outbreak, everybody was, here and there trying to stay safe. But Ebola has come and it has gone down, and the people are still the people. The protest has come, the SARS has come, everything has happened. It's dying down. We are still fighting. The people are still the people. We might not be the same mentally with everything we've experienced so far, but we are, we're fighting. So right now for Nigeria, I just feel hopeful. I'm hoping that this evolution that started with, definitely come, and hope that the change and the killings and the insecurity and everything will reduce, because it's affecting me as somebody that travel around Nigeria and that promotes, safety in Nigeria basically. I don't necessarily feel the motivation to come on board and say, oh, I want to travel at this moment, because I know of the safety risk out there. So for now, for me and Nigeria, it's just a case of, you know what, you'll be fine. Everything will be all right. Just take one day at a time.
Yeah, we'll all be fine. Some people say it's only going to get better. I don't know how true that is.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's a truthful statement, maybe it's just something to calm people's nerves. But so I want to believe that you are the first woman to travel around Nigeria, all the states. Yes, Guinness Book of Records. Drum rolls, that means. Is there another person we don't know? So. It's only Toke we know that travel around Nigeria, not for political reasons, not for campaign, for just travel itself. And now you want to do the same thing with local governments. How has this been going, and what's inspired this?
The 774 or the 36
36 states, and what's and the 774, yeah.
Okay. For traveling, basically, at first it was a game of sorry, that's my dog. It was a case of I'm not doing anything at home. Let me just pack my bag and go somewhere. That was how it started. And when it started like that, I started seeing the real states, in Nigeria, and I couldn't stop until I started flipping all the books cover and reading about what is in this state and what is in that state, what I can go see, start learning more about the people, the places, and all of that stuff. And how best can you experience something you've read, if not go see for yourself? And that was what inspired me to stay.
Yeah.
So I woke up one morning and I said, you know what? So when I started at first, my first, second, third state, I was not initially thinking of doing the whole 36 states. I was just having fun at the time. But along the line, I began to hear people on social media start saying, about the stereotypes around Nigeria, about where you can go, why you can't go to places, the terrible roads in Nigeria, why they can't travel because there's no more money and all of that stuff. And I felt like all those narratives are something that I am interested in, experiencing and trying to see if what they are saying is true or a total lie. Everybody that know me know I'm a work-class girl from a downtown Lagos, from a small village, traveled 26 days. And if I can do it with zero, not like zero naira, but basically not like millions of naira, do it by road. So I travel for the 6 days by road without having to fly and all of that stuff. I'm sure I have changed stereotypes about how you can't travel Nigeria safely by road, how you have to have millions of naira to travel, how Nigeria is not, beautiful enough to see. And those are what inspired the whole 36 movement. And for 774, basically, it was never in the plan. So you know how you find your purpose in the midst of nowhere. So that was what happened with 774. My plan after the 6 days was to start traveling in African countries, and but at the long run, my experiences around Nigeria has made me realize that there is more to experience with people and culture and food. At the 36th day was a case of traveling from one attraction to another year, and in the midst of those attractions were the people and the food additional. But now 774 is an in-depth kind of travel where I'm not traveling just for attractions. I'm traveling to the people, their lifestyle, hear their story, their history, how they've been living in a particular place for years and they haven't even seen outside of their world, or what challenges are they facing, what is it like to be in their shoe or to live like them for a day or two. And that is why the 774 project sprung up. It was inspired by some life-challenging experiences I had with some people about how they were struggling to, live, how they are living basically. They are living in a really small world of nothing, and they are so happy, And I feel like these are part of the stories that we need to share to the world to see that, there is more to Nigeria than Lagos. There is more to Nigeria than Abeokuta and Abuja.
Yeah.
And there is more to the people than Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo. There are so much more that we need to talk about, and that is why 774 started.
So I have two questions from what you said. The first one is,
okay.
Has there been any point where, a company came up to you and like, okay, I like what you're doing, we'd like to sponsor it? Or have you yourself, approached any individual or company to say, I'm doing this, can you sponsor it so that to be more successful than what I even imagined?
Yeah. So the 774 idea came after this year. So I finished traveling 36 days around March before the COVID-19 lockdown. And that period, nothing was operating at the time. Things were not going to be affected. So I didn't really think of the open brand or what I'm about to do. I lost 774 I started from the North Central. And during that period, I'm not the type that really approach companies like that, because I like to have, what do you call it? I like to have projects at hand. I like to have evidence work to show that this is what I'm capable of doing, or this is what I'm doing. So it was a call on social media for my supporters and my followers to say, okay, I'm doing the 774 movement. This is my budget for the first phase. What are we going to do? How are we going to do it? And my followers came up with the funding for the first set of the project, which, So and when I was doing the first leg, I had some companies reach out. say, oh, they like what I'm doing, they would like to incorporate it to their own brand also. And we are still working in the process of that. I'm still looking for sponsors just in case anybody hear me here now. It's always important. Money is important.
That means
Money
a
is
big girl.
important, I mean. But yeah, hopefully, no, hopefully by as time goes on, we get brands that are interested in this project. So this project is not just for tourism; it's for humanitarian purposes.
So that's where my next question comes from. So that's where my next question comes from. So you mentioned the worries of those people. Most of them live, of course, below even extreme poverty line. That I'm sure you must have seen it. And if as you go to this 774, you will see more of that. So do you have plans, to project this project, to spread it like as far? That's why I asked if they are going to sponsor as far as possible, so that it's not just there. Like people are actually seeing the sufferings of this. People are seeing that there's some communities in Nigeria who don't have light, who don't have water. They have to travel 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers, to get water.
Even more than.
More than. I remember when fintech companies started becoming a thing in Nigeria, and people were like, people in the village are not going to use your apps. And I think I don't remember the history now, but that's the USSD code started coming in. And, people say insisted that there are people who don't use phones. So how are you going to help these people? So, what are your plans really to make sure that the voices of these people are heard outside, beyond your own voice?
Yeah, so thank you so much. So one of the what I call it, the phases of the trip is to break it in pieces. So I always like to bring in people into the field now. Before, I'm a solo traveler. Like I go from one place to another myself. That was what I did in 36 days. But now I'm not doing it by myself. I'm trying to bring in as much as possible people that are free to join the trip. It's better to have more voices talking about these things than mine. So when I have let's say 10 people on this thing with me, they are talking to other people, they are talking to their reach and their own network at the same time. Also, in the long run, we are open to partner with organizations, government practitioners that are, into helping people, looking into their budgeting and all of that stuff to make sure that, things that are allocated to some communities are being done. And also, we are looking into radio interviews. So what I was meant to do when I started was to go to radio stations in each state in their local, local radio stations to talk about the movement. So let's say I get to Express, for instance, and I notice they don't have light. Is a thing to go into Lagos State radio station. Anyone can say, oh, we've been to this social place. They don't have light, and this is what we can do. This is how much they might be needing, or this is what anybody can do to support them. So before I will come out to a larger audience to say, these people have a problem, I also want to have a solution. So I need to have a solution idea, like, okay, they don't have water, what would it cost us to get them water? What would it cost us to purify the water? What would it cost us to maintain the water? What would it cost us to get them around the places? So if I have all these things sorted out, it will be easy for me to now come on radio stations or to a lot larger crowd to say, I need you to help me do this for these people. This is what they need. Also, at the long run, I'm hoping we can make it like a reality TV show where we have it aired on TV, where we can make it like a reality TV show, people traveling to local villages to eat, to drink, to experience culture, to relate with people beyond their own four walls, and bringing in people, not just the way we have Buddha optimistic. Then let's say people are going into villages to look for treasures and stones. Now it is you coming into a local community, you're relating with them, you're eating their food, you're living basically like them. For a month, we can say we are casting 10 to 15 people to just come to the local government. All of you will tell us what you realize from this place, what do you think they need? What do you think is their potential? What do you think we can work on, to get all those things done? That's part of the plan too. There's a lot of plans I'm working on for the project, but I'm taking like a step at a time.
You're doing well. According to Macaroni, you say you're doing well. Oin. You're actually doing well. I can see what you're doing. It's not just travel. It's actually social justice, if I got the term right. And it's something many communities in Nigeria actually need. So our next question, in lighter mode now. What are the interesting things you learned in your state tour?
I've learned humility. I don't know. My journey has humbled me to the lowest score. When you get to some places, sometimes you realize that you are not sensitive in some places. Sometimes you live in Lagos, you feel like a boss. Like, if I like this place like this. I mean, I'm what size special, and you get to.
Okay. That means me or she's up.
Get to some places and you're. I'm so sorry about that. How do they do this thing? I'm so sorry about that. They call me. So, like I was saying, I've learned humility so much that when I go to places, I learn to be like them, live like them, leave all my wealthness and my civilization wherever I'm coming from and just drop it at home. So when I'm on the road, I'm basically a new person. That's what I say. I still have my quality, but I'm someone that is open to learning from other people. And also I've learned that, it is you don't know anything until you go to those places, until you meet the people.
Yeah, true.
There are a lot of you don't know anything until you really, really meet people or experience it. Like I would say it's an instance of how we have news of Bukaram somewhere in Nigeria and everything. When you're in Lagos and you are hearing that they are killing people in Kaduna, you don't really feel the fear as much as if you're around them or if you're living around them. I had an experience when I was in Yobe. I was so close to where an attack was happening, and I was so scared out of my mind because I feel like if the people here can have this kind of fear, the people in Lagos or other part of Nigeria that are not really as close to the point of happening cannot really tell the level of fear that they are living in and all of that stuff. So there are all of that I've learned on the trip that you have to really experience something before you can hear your opinion, before you can have an opinion about something. You have to have understand it, you have to have experienced it, you have to have studied about it so much that you know that the point you're coming from is a genuine point of view. And I've learned a lot thing about culture and people and places and food. They are all part of the journey.
Nice. So we're going to expand that question. I remember I used to live in Abuja and I knew a little about Northerners, but so when it was time to serve, I just saw Jigawa. I'm like, yes, perfect, Jigawa. But the people were like, no, don't go to Jigawa. They are killing people. I'm like, where do people see they are killing people? That even if they are killing people, I also can see it. Yes. So I was gonna see what's happening there, and people insisted. But I'm like, I must go there. I want to learn about these people. I'm not learning anything from Abuja because I'm hardly meeting Northerners. It's only the bike riders and the gatesmen that I meet. I want to go and meet the other people in other social classes. And of course, Abuja would have given that, but I want to go into the villages. And when I go there, I learned a lot of things. First of all, I learned to, I don't know how to put it, but maybe just come down to their level, educational level.
Yeah.
I wanted to learn from them, so I came down to their level and I told them, I want to be your brother. I want to be your friend. So teach me everything.
Yeah.
I remember how our friendship even grew to, allow me enter their houses. In the houses they used to have this bar sugar, and they allow me enter their houses. Yeah. They were introducing their girlfriends, even allow me go. Don't worry, greet my girlfriend. I'm like, okay. Something that hadn't happened. And through that, I learned a lot. Every time I go there, after I finished serving, I went there again. It was like a king had entered the town because it was the way I presented myself the first time when I was serving. And it was like a king, and they were giving me food, they were giving me money, they were giving me what. I'm like, you don't do, like, I can't go home without it. So there are definitely things
yeah.
there are definitely things that that other people don't know about the language, the culture, norms. So basically, what are those stereotypes about certain tribes or certain people do you know that you wish that people would dismantle?
About I used to say that we are one Nigeria. We are differentiated by tribe, language, religion, but we are still one person. And every tribe would have their own uniqueness. They have their own culture. They have their own beliefs. And because you don't live like them or you don't resonate with you, doesn't disregard the fact that it is their culture and it is their belief also. Some of the stereotypes that I've learned along the line, even in the North, I heard that in some part of Northern Nigeria, I know when I was traveling to the North, you need to see the kind of clothes that I packed. I mean, I packed as if I was going to Saudi Arabia, like I was going to God knows where. Because there's already a stereotype that you can't dress this particular way here, you can't dress this particular way in the north. When I was going to Kano, I was packing clothes as if I was going to like my village, carrying Iwo and Buba and everything. So I was shocked. I was shocked when I got there that I can wear jeans and nobody's going to throw me to death. I was shocked when I realized that I can wear tank top and nobody's going to throw me to death. They made it feel like you're going to the north. You have to just like another down. Of course, there's something like when you're in the room, you have like the Roman. You tend to dress the way they dress, eat the way they eat, or whatever. And when I was going there, when I got to this place, I was just shocked, and I'm like, can Nigerians or can we just stop saying, this is how these people act, or this is how these people believe, because it's what we read in books or what we heard about.
Yeah, what are
most times most times those history that occurs, like somebody might tell you the Northerners are hostile, that they can beat you, they can kidnap you or anything. And that is not true. They feel like let's talk about the Fulani. When I was in Gombe, the person that helped me go through some unbeaten parts of the Fulani man. And the old stereotype about Fulani herdsmen and all
exactly
that stuff, that they are, because like the guy that helped me, Ibrahim, was a Fulani herdsman that was just wearing his passes and taking them to the bushes and all. And I met him and I was like, I'm going to the hill, Tangele Hill, and he was like, oh, you can take me around. And he left his cattle, he took me around to get to the place. He made me a really beautiful basket from the weaves. It was an amazing experience, having to have an experience with Fulani man, having to talk to the Fulani herdsmen, having to eat with the Fulani herdsmen. And, it makes me realize that not all of them are hostile. So because they say they kill people or they fight over something doesn't mean that all of them are evil. Just the way we have protesters now doesn't mean that all of us protesting in Nigeria are against the police brutality. There are some that still want police to be their best friend, which is not. There's other stereotypes that like, even when I go to the East, there is all this thing that people like, if you do anyhow, they collect your purse, they will do this, they will collect your money, all those kind of things. And when I was there, it was like it's like I left home to get into another home. For me, when I go to a new place, it's just like me leaving home to a strange land, and then that strange land turns out to be home again. Do you understand? And I feel like I don't want to leave this place because I already feel welcome at home here. So there are all the stereotypes that we need to understand, that because one person or because there's a news about this particular doesn't mean all the tribes are terrible. Just like they say Yoruba men are dubious doesn't mean that all Yoruba men are dubious. Do you understand? Like, we have to understand that part of we people, that we have just the way we have our good and bad sides. We have our temperament. We know the way we are, react to things sometimes. So that's just the way these people are. The way they have to do, that's the way we have to bad. And that is one lesson that we need to learn about people in Nigeria.
I wish the whole of Nigeria was in this Zoom meeting, to learn this from you. Maybe we would actually change our mindset. So that when I listen to people, about a certain tribe, or they're talking about another tribe or another set of people, I'm like, what? Like, how do you even know this? Like, where did you learn this from? Like, it's not even true. It's not true. I used to tell people that if I actually want to go home, if I want to go, like, I want to call somewhere home, the first place I'm going to call home is Jigawa. Like, it is Jigawa. The second place I'll call home is Katsina. I went to Mayadua, and they were just throwing me around. And Malam, come here. Come here. I'm like, this is it now. If you go to markets on Lagos Island,
the Northerners, I don't know.
You say something?
Yeah, the Northerners are just beautiful people. They are. So the Northerners are just lovely. They are
Exactly.
welcoming. They are open arms. Especially if you are respectful and you are not proud, you are not pompous. You're
exactly.
just trying to be like them. They would give you everything. I've been stuck somewhere that was a Northerner that gave me this sleep. I've been stuck somewhere that was a Northerner that gave me. I'm not saying one tribe is more accommodating than the other. I've been from West and to East. I've experienced love from different tribes. So you don't necessarily, say some people are bad because one person had a bad experience. When somebody tell me their experience is people and be like, when I got to that place, they did the first ask, how did you react when you got there? What happened? What really transpired? Did you say something? Sometimes we people used to feel like, oh, they can't understand my language, so you want to abuse them in your language. Unfortunately for you, they might understand what you said, and they might not react immediately to telling you what you said. They understand what you've just said, but they will just react to you. And for you, you'll be like, you don't know what you did, they were just attacking you. But you said something, you've abused them in a language. That's why most times I don't buy, especially when an expatriate country and then you're trying to speak your language just to abuse them. I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. Because they can't understand what you're saying, doesn't give you the right to abuse anybody or to use a language, because you don't know if they understand and what their reaction to that person what might be. And that's why when you're out there anyway, not even if you're out there, you have to be careful of your language, of your and the tone at which you communicate.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Exactly. I was in the market one day in Jigawa, and another core member was, we're talking about the pepper and tomato one Northerner was selling, and we're like, ele, oh fine, jara ele, we're just, and the man just replied in Yoruba, oh fine. So the man has spent 15 years in Lagos, so his Yoruba was even better than our own. Imagine we had, abused him in Yoruba, he would just reply and be like, yeah. So our next question is about COVID-19. As we started, COVID-19 has greatly affected our work and lifestyles. Many things in our lives has changed. So that's also affected the travel industry, no doubt. Like, we don't even know if the travel industry is going to fully recover in the next 2 years. But from your end, what steps do you think the travel industry should take, to ensure that the recovery from COVID-19 is quick and seamless?
So the recovery from COVID-19, there's a news again that there's a new kind of COVID-19 found.
I think strand or something. Or a new forgotten. Yeah. So internationally, tourism takes one of the biggest blows from COVID-19. Imagine for operators that had packages for the year round, and COVID-19 just came and then boom, everything has come on hold. People can't do anything.
So yeah, it has advantage and disadvantage locally and internationally. Disadvantage internationally that is that people can really travel just anywhere at the moment, and if you're going the old, you have to have your COVID-19 test, you have to quarantine for 7 days or 14 days, as this country may have. So sorry. So all these things are part of the disadvantages that we have here in Nigeria. So basically, locally, COVID-19 in Nigeria. When I was traveling this year, I was hearing people say, there's no COVID-19 in Nigeria. It's a lie.
I heard that in Abeokuta. I heard that in Osun State.
Even on my recent trip, I was being told that COVID-19 did not reach Kwara State. It just stopped at Oyo. After Oyo, COVID-19 was border. So there is that part. We Nigerians can be careless. I'm one of them. At least during this trip, I wasn't extra careful, but I was making sure I was washing my hands and using my sanitizer. But I wasn't using face mask. I was supposed to be beaten, but not really, because in a state where everybody's just going by the day, when you have to see only you use the face mask, you might start projecting fears in them that
Yeah.
So I decided to just leave.
Okay. I think maybe a call came in to my phone. So she'll get back to us.
But yeah, locally, COVID-19 has actually
Okay. If you can hear me, can't hear you. You went off for a while.
Hi, Omalaya. I think she has gone off. So we just like wait for her to come back on.
She's back, yeah. She's back.
I'm so sorry about that.
She here.
How do I come?
How do you do it?
Yeah. Okay, I wanted to start my video.
Okay.
I'm so sorry about that. A delivery person I've been trying to reach. So that's why. Okay. Are we back on?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, locally, COVID-19 has inspired a lot of people to travel locally. One of our job is to promote local, tourism. Yes, for people to explore Nigeria and go to local places and experience culture, history, and all of that and nature. So when COVID-19 came, it forced the hands of people in Nigeria to start seeing the beauty of Nigeria and start exploring Nigeria, basically. Because I noticed that during that time, I started having people coming in for consultation, asking, where can I go for picnic? Where can I go for holiday? Where can I go chill? What can I do? I would like to go to these places. So COVID-19 really, really promotes local tourism, because flights are not working and people were stuck in the house for a long time. And when that freedom came, when they released the ban for COVID-19, people couldn't even still, bring their steps to the times that they have to fly to another country, because they don't know what the safety is over there. So they just maintain Nigeria level, which was actually a good one for promoting local tourism. Yes, in the effect of economy, it affected the economy. Tour operators couldn't organize trips to some of these places, which definitely, and some companies had to let go of their staff because they don't need a tour guide when travel wasn't happening. But some people were not getting paid. I was not getting paid by myself and the company I worked with. A lot was going on, but hopefully, after this whole thing has all gone down and there's a vaccine for COVID-19, I'm definitely sure that once there's a vaccine, people would definitely eat the wood again. Just like Lassa fever, when we finally found a vaccine for Lassa fever, people found it easier again to step on the road, knowing that they are now immune to the virus. So hopefully we find a vaccine for Lassa fever, but if not, we just have to keep taking measures, keep washing our hands, using face masks, because we don't know how long it's going to be here for, and we don't know how soon we can get the vaccine. So do you stay at home for the rest of your life? Because there is you have to go out daily life. All you just have to do is quarantine when you get to a new country or a new place. Use your face mask, have your hand sanitizer, and just be careful when you're in the midst of people. For now.
So for people like me, I actually believe that without money, I can't do what you're doing now. Like, I strongly believe, like, okay, let me use a very typical example. I'm going to Katsina. I'm going to Mayadua Market in Katsina. If you know the Mayadua Market, but it borders Niger. So I'm going there and I see all those things. I'm like, so I'm not going to buy this thing. It's like going to ShopRite and say, oh, I was going to do window shopping. You can't go into ShopRite or Just Right and say I was going to do window shopping. There's something they are going to see that you must buy. So the same thing with travel too. I usually have this experience that if I want to travel, I should have money. One of the reasons is I must see something that I really like. I want to take home. So for people who are like me, who believe that money, of course, they consider transportation, accommodation, moving around the state in case you want to do that. For people like me, advice will give us, because I like adventure. I'm a very adventurous person, but I just believe that money is a problem.
You can just say people like us. Okay. Because I'm still in that WhatsApp group. I've not left.
No, it's a lie. You left a long time ago.
Like us, actually, for me, before I tell people that travel is not expensive and you can do it, I'd like to say that's why we have two block preferences here. What are your preferences like? What do you like to see? Where do you like to go? How do you like to live? We have the life with our local people. There are different types of travelers. We have the budget travelers. We have the luxurious travelers. And every type of traveler is fine. Sometimes I feel like I should have been a luxurious traveler, maybe because I don't have money. That's why I'm luxurious. Who knows? I might have millions of them, and I tell you know what? I'm done doing budget travel and now into luxurious. Nothing you can do about it. I go, I take first class, I take private jets, I go, So ain't nobody going to hold me for that, right? But you don't actually have to wait till you have that much money before you travel. I used to say, I started traveling with 10,000. And with that 10,000, I was able to do few states. I think I did Ogun, Oyo, Osun at the time.
So you didn't have accommodation there in those places?
Yeah, so that's one of the things I was going to talk about. So if you're traveling for adventure, basically for yourself, the things that each chunk of the money is definitely transportation and accommodation. And once you have accommodation settled, every other thing is minor change, honestly. Especially when you leave Lagos, I used to say like from this place to Oyo is 1,003. From Oyo to Kwara is like 1,002 or 1,005. So once the closer you get some of these towns and states, the cheaper the transportation cost you get. And moving around these places, you get taxis for 50 naira, 30 naira in some places, 100 naira, 150. If you calculate this kind of money, maybe in the state you're spending like 3,000 naira for local transport within the state. If you get accommodation from locals where you can stay, it reduces your cost. So what do you put in place before you travel? Because you want to travel. That's why we have social media, we have friends, we have families. If you're going to Osun State, start looking for people in Osun State. So who is not to say that wants to accommodate me, or who is not to say that would like me to come over? And before you know it, one or two persons, you have friends that are doing NYSC, you don't know how many, you don't know which one of them will be in Osun State at the time, or which one of them are located. You have friends from school, or you have friends from social media that are willing, open to accommodate you. And if accommodation is sorted, that is fine. And then transportation, how much do you want to spend on the road? That's why you have budgets. That's how you have to do budgeting. Okay, how much would it cost me from Lagos to Ibadan? I want to be okay, fine. What do I want to go and see in Ibadan? What is interesting there? Why do I want to go there? Do I want to go and see nature? Okay, if there's nature, you make research again for places that they have nature. Okay, if, for example, you're going to Oshun, you want to go to Lisha for Lisha waterfall. You already know that you are going somewhere close. Anyway, you want to stay to be somewhere close to Lisha because you want to cut costs on transportation. You want to go from Erin-Ijesha to Ondo, for instance, you have to, you are sleeping in Erin-Ijesha, around Erin-Ijesha for the night, so they can enter Ondo the next morning for a cheaper cost of 500 naira. So these things are things to put in place, and before you know it, you're spending lesser than you imagine. So traveling is not supposed to be like once you have plenty money before you can do it. Just have to put some things in place: accommodation, transportation, feeding, and set your budget. You don't necessarily, like when I started traveling, I was seeing everything. I was going from one place and I want to see everything at anything. And it was exhausting because at the same time it was time consuming and also fund consuming. But as a traveler, you need to know what interests you. Am I into nature? Am I into culture? Am I into history? Do I want to see waterfalls? Do I want to see eels? Do I want to see food? Once you put all these things in place, once you know what your preferences are like, so when you're going to a state, you're not basically looking for everything, you're packing everything, going from one place to another. You're going directly to your spot. So there is waterfall here, I'm going to see this waterfall. When I see this waterfall, I'm satisfied. That's all I want to see. Oh, when I listen to these people talk, when I listen to these people sing, that's all I'm going to see. I'm satisfied. That way, you don't just spend unnecessary money on anything. Also, like you said, you can't go and do window shopping every time. You have to be careful of what you spend on, because you feel like you have extra cash. You want to buy, you're buying everything. Let's tell people, if you're inside bus, sleep. If you know that you cannot keep your hands to yourself, you cannot close your mouth, sleep. Just sleep.
You pass your bus stop.
You will see the doki. Just tell the doctor, the last bus stop in Monlo, I will come down by the road. So they will tell you when you get there, because if you sit down there, if someone that can't close your mouth when you're traveling, you buy Pepsi, you buy Gala, you buy the Dokiwe, you buy Ipekere, you buy everything. And so you're already spending
banana,
budget for this. Do you understand? You already eat the trip on the road. You don't necessarily have to have a lot of money. But one thing I also learned when I started traveling, along the line when I started traveling, is you can always save up for your trip. You don't necessarily have to wing it. So for me, I am always just, once I have money in my account, so always be like, let me go and travel. Do you understand? Then I realized that it is okay for me to save towards my travel, not necessarily having to pack my bags just anyhow. So let's say I make my research about this place. Okay, I'm going to Niger, for instance. Okay, how much would it cost me to go to Niger? How much would it cost me an accommodation? How much would it cost me this and that? Once I make those arrangements, I can now start saving into that budget. So if it's 40,000, if it's 30,000, start saving it and give yourself time frame of when you want to go. You know that you realize that you can actually do these things. It's not until you have large money. It is intention. That's what I call travel. Traveling is intentional. You have to want to travel. You have to want to go and see. If you see, there are people that have money that don't travel. I have a friend who's a banker. He has money. Like, I used to tell him that if you just invest in me, just give him money, let me use it to travel. Because he has the money, but still he's still not traveling. So that's when you know that it's not a matter of money, basically. Some people have the money and they'll still travel. They won't still travel. It's not their thing. So you have to be intentional about traveling. If you're intentional, if you want to see something, if you want to experience something, I'm telling you, you won't find it costly. Just the way some people like to have the new gadgets. Those people that love new gadgets, they won't find it costly. When I'm complaining about why would I buy a phone of that's 25,000, people say go on now, boy, it has come. It's what you preferred most. If you're intentional about traveling, you realize that you don't excessively have to have a lot of money to do it.
So Toke, now open your mind. Tell us, why travel?
I'm asking myself too now that why travel? Because
so I know one thing. You are in for social justice. You are into learning new things. About people's cultures, languages, norms. I know if you're learning food too. Don't get eat too much and become too fat. You can't travel again. So I know. So what else? What else really? Why travel?
Basically, when I started traveling, it's a case of I was jobless, and I love moving. Like I love moving around a lot. I'm that kind of person that can't sit down in one place for a long time, and that was why I've never had a 9 to 5. Because if you put me in a structured company and ask me to sit down, I'm going to fall sick. I can't survive it. Like I remember when I was young, I think after secondary school, after secondary school, when you're waiting for admission, you go and work now. So I went to do this job as a dry cleaner, the receptionist in a dry cleaning company. And I was sick for the first month after I collected the first salary. I didn't go back again. And because I'm down in a position that I don't like. I like moving around. And I realized that since that is one thing that I love doing, so why didn't I just invest into traveling? It has helped me maximize my thinking, my time. It has exposed me to a lot of things, and the exposure is something I can't pay for. Even though I'm traveling, I'm spending money as I travel, yeah, but the exposure that I get from it doesn't have price tag. Yeah, it doesn't have a price tag. So for me, is to see the things of the world, to experience the world, to say I fully lived. Yes, like I feel like right now somebody will ask, if you ask me anything and you say, I'm like, what? Man, I've been to this place. What my conversations with people now are quite interesting, because every time I'm like, I've been to this place, there was a time I was in this thing. Oh, do you understand? Like, it's not like I'm just reading stuff in books and like now I can make an argument about Nigeria and then win, because I'll tell you I've been to this place. You have heard about it, but I have been there. So
True.
That helped my understanding. It has increased my knowledge of people and things. So yeah, travel for me is everything. It's for people, it's for myself, it's for the culture, to show you God's greatness. Because if you see some of these things, you'll be like, how did God create these things?
True.
So yeah.
Yes, interestingly, you've opened my mind. I used to be a travel freak. I just go. No plans, nobody. I just go. I just call Toke in Abuja. Toke, I'm coming. I'm going to spend 2 days. I just go, and before the 2 days elapsed, I'm telling Toke, no. You know what? I want to go to Abia State. I don't think. Yeah. I think I'm enjoying Abuja anymore. But at some point, I'm like, okay, so why? So, but you have helped me understand why, and I appreciate that, and I hope that people who watch this video actually understand why travel. It's not just to go and see Farinhuwa, it's not just to go and see all those other places. There's other things you can learn, and you can share that knowledge too. And as I said, you are doing well. So one last one, as we said, you ask yourself and answer it. Ask yourself a question and answer it.
My question to myself now is, what is next? Next. Because at first it was COVID-19, and then I bettered the 774 mission, and now it is SARS brutality, police brutality, and insecurity in Nigeria. And I'm asking myself what's next, because this is definitely going to affect tourism again in Nigeria. I have lived 2 years promoting safety travel in the tourism space. I have lived all my life to convince people that you can travel to these places and come back safe. And now it's the case of, do I still want to tell these people to go to those places, knowing that the insecurity in this nation has risen to a par, and knowing that before it was a case of you can go to this place, you can have issues, but you can go and report at the police station. But now it's a case of, if you go to this place, you might even get harassed by police. So for me now, it's a case of what is next. What can I do to make sure that people travel safely? How can I do it to make sure that people still want to travel Nigeria and still have the belief that they will go and come back in peace? And also, how do I incorporate the new happenings into my travel? How do I liberate and enlighten people about what is happening in Nigeria and how Nigeria can be better. Now we are talking about educating people from the grassroots, letting them know their rights, and I feel like as a traveler, I have the to meet a lot of people every time. Every time I step out, I'm meeting a young man, a young woman, a small child, an old man, little strangers that turns into friends as I travel. So I feel like it's now time for me to incorporate that into my travel, to enlighten them about their rights, their social responsibility, their government responsibility, and all of that stuff. I've been trying to crack my head around how to go about this every day since this whole thing started. I think I'm getting grasp on it and how to go about it. So yeah, it's a question of what next and how to go about it for me. And right now it's time we let everybody know that you're my brother, you're my sister, regardless of skin color, regardless of type, regardless of religion. Because if you look at what happened on the media where they were trying to make a tribal war, and Hausa man came.
That always happens, unfortunately.
We need to make sure that we are traveling, we are meeting people, not just from our tribe alone, but from different tribes, and showing them the kindness in people and showing them in other people, so that at the end of the day, when this war would start, it won't be a tribal war anymore. It's going to be a war for justice. It's going to be a war for change. It's going to be a war for peace and improvements, basically. So yeah.
So Dami, I have one question for you. Dami, go on, please.
Okay, so it's okay.
Hey, she finally speak.
Okay, so I was wondering, like, did your parents or your family members still have any objection with you traveling? In Nigeria, there's always the stereotype that women are supposed to stay one place, you're not supposed to travel up and down or something like that, that you are not going to be safe or something. So if they had objections, how did you handle it too?
Actually, I don't have parent issues. I don't have parent issues at all. My parent has always made, I think since I was a child, they've been that freedom in the house that we can make sure. So they made us realize that you're on your own. So all my they tell you once you get to that school you're on your own. They don't come for education or anything just to make sure that you're safe. So I feel like my parents are really a part of my growth in my strength and my courageous heart of being able to go into the wild and all of that stuff. But of recent, I have a friend, like she's a friend but now family, and I stayed at her parents' place during this period of 7 seconds. And they lectured me. Sorry, see, they lectured me. Your friend now, she's married, she now have kids, she now have job, traveling up and down. I don't understand your job. What's the cocoa and everything? The question was a lot. And honestly, I now I like the fact that it happened because it put me in the shoe of people that want to travel but they can't because of their family fear and projection on them of who they are supposed to be and what they're supposed to be doing and why they shouldn't even be doing what they think they want to do. And I can only come to one conclusion. We need to liberate our parents that because I want to do this thing. I want to do this thing. It doesn't mean that they are going to see the result of me being prosper in 2 years or 3 years. Doesn't mean I'm going to now be rich in 4 years or 5 years. For sure, I want to test the waters. I want to see what I can do. I want to see what I can grow into. And if you keep putting that on me, there is no way I can know who I am supposed to be or who I want to be. I know that some parents are hard shell that you can't break, but you need to let them understand your decisions. I know if they want you to be happy, if your parents want to see you happy, they'll give you the chance. And you also have to do your part of giving them reasons to see that you're not just doing it confusedly. You are invested in it. You are showing them the result of who you want to be. Like my dad will call me, even though he's a old man. When my dad called me, the first thing would be like, "Ilu olu wabai," because mostly they don't even know where I am. They just know that I'm not at home. And at that point, they are not asking me where I am because they want to question me about what I'm doing there or what is going on. They just want to know if I'm somewhere, or they just want them to know that we know what you're doing and we are in support of what you're doing. And I feel our parents need to do a lot in supporting us in whatever way possible. Nigeria has not given us jobs to just wake up and pick. We have to find it. And while finding it, we find ourselves. Content creators out there, bloggers out there. There was nothing like that during our parents' time. So they don't understand what we're media saying bloggers. What's that? Do you understand? But if you when you're paying bills and you're showing them this is what you do, this is how I work with the brand, they will know, okay, you are not doing internet for you're working with people. They hear you conversing with your clients that are speaking local languages, not foreign languages. They are seeing you work and putting things into work. Then they will start understanding that this child or these people, these millennials are putting in the work to be an inventor of works and opportunities and not just a paper. So all I would say is try and communicate with your parents, tell them what you want to do. And if eventually you don't find to get them on that line, start doing what you want to do. And at the long run, they'll come along. They always come along. They are parents. They love us.
Dami, do you have another question?
No, I don't. Thank you, Toke.
Toke, to be honest with you, this has been quite insightful. I've learned a lot. I'm going to go back to go and watch this. As I told you, I used to be a travel freak until I just asked myself, why am I even traveling? I'm not even buying anything from those places. I'm not coming home with houses from Nasarawa. I'm not, like when I visited Nasarawa, I did not say anything. I'm like, okay, so what did I come here to do? So that was one of the reasons why I decided that, travel more. Like, I don't even go out of my house these days. When they said lockdown, I'm like, my life is already quarantined, so same no need. But yeah, thank you so much. This has been quite, as I said, quite.
Yeah, Mr. Way, you can always message me if you need to make plans around your travel, or you want to start over, or you want to and give you ideas of what to do so that you have information beforehand before going in. And I'm always open. My DM is always open. Anybody can always come.